If I could just get your attention for a few moments, we have to make an adjustment in our program because one of our special guests has a commitment that she has to make, and therefore we want to be accommodating of that. And that is, of course, our honoree, Attorney General Letitia James from the state of New York City. Bad sister. And please, listen up, because I want you to hear what is said about her and what she says to us. Several of you may have attended Howard University who are here, maybe your alma mater, but listen to this. Howard University has a motto. It is Veritas et Utilitas, meaning truth and service. It is a motto which exemplifies the work and the life of our honoree tonight, the Ida B. Wells Barnett Freedom and Justice winner. Ida B. Wells, one of the founders of the NAACP, said a long time ago, the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. Well, our honoree has turned the light on corruption and deception in the highest places. She has pulled criminal activity out of the dark shadows of a conspicuous masquerade. She is bold, unrelenting, and her pursuit of justice is never ending. She is a proud Brooklynite, the graduate of Lehman College and Howard University School of Law, the 67th Attorney General of the state of New York. She is the first woman of color to hold statewide office in New York and the first woman to be elected Attorney General. She has been a public servant and people advocate basically all of her life. She was a public advocate for the city of New York. She became the first woman of color to hold citywide office, passing more legislation than all previous advocates combined. This included an historic groundbreaking law banning questions about salary history from the employment process to address the pervasive gender gap. She has secured more than $7.5 billion for New York from those who broke state laws, including $2.5 billion from opioid manufacturers and distributors. She has led the effort to remove more than 4,000 guns from the New York communities, took down drug trafficking rings throughout the state. She has gone all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to stop a question about citizenship from being added to the census and successfully protecting eligible undocumented immigrants who came to the United States from deportation, better known as DACA, the Deferred Action Against Childhood Arrivals. This is a snapshot of who she is and what she does. She's a bad, bad sister. Her credentials say, if you don't want none, then don't bring none. She follows the tradition of Howard University School of Law, Dean Charles Hamilton Houston, the mentor of Thurgood Marshall, founder and director of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, and the first Black American on the U.S. Supreme Court. Houston said, a lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society. Tonight, we honor and welcome a social engineer. She is engineering justice. She is creating a place and a space for the rejected and the neglected. She speaks truth to power. She don't back down. She won't turn around. She has the courage of Harriet, the truth of Sojourner, the spirit of Barbara Jordan, the savvy of Ketanji. She won't let no president try to bully or deflect her. But just like Aretha, all she wants is some RESPECT, saying, you're going to find out what it means to me. Just a little respect. My brothers and my sisters, the recipient of the Ida B. Wells Freedom and Justice Award, New York Attorney General Letitia Ann Tish James. Let's welcome her.
Love you. Hey, Dana. Amazing, 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 amazing. Hey, Detroit. I think it's time to pass the basket after that introduction. My heart is full. My heart is grateful. Before I begin, I think it's really critically important that I say tonight that political violence has no place in society. No, I don't think you heard me. Political violence has no place in society. You see, my life has been threatened many a times, but no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You see, I got a wedge of protection around me. And so I want to thank God that the President of the United States and his First Lady and all of the public figures and attendees of last night's White House Correspondents' Dinner, they were not harmed. But I would be remiss if I did not continue to yearn and pray for a compassionate, a civil, a competent, and an inclusive government in Washington, D.C. So yeah, I bring you greetings from the Republic of Brooklyn. And it's great to be in Detroit. And my thanks for that kind introduction. And it means the world to me to be on the same stage as my brother from Brooklyn, the next speaker, Hakeem Jeffries. And to be on the stage with sheroes like Ruby Bridges and all of the honorees. And to be in a room with my sister, your amazing Attorney General Dana Nessel. My deepest gratitude to Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony and his beautiful bride for your more than 30 years of strength and clarity, and to everyone with the NAACP Detroit branch. I also stand at this podium. I could not stand at this podium without mentioning the late, great Hazel Dukes, who I affectionately refer to in all of us as Mama Dukes. I was lucky enough to see her and call her a friend and a mentor, and to see her firsthand, her unwavering commitment to NAACP's fight for equality and justice. Put simply, there would be no State Attorney General Letitia James without champions like hers and organizations like this NAACP. I am because she lived. For more than a century, the courageous leadership of this organization and its relentless pursuit of justice has paved the way for generations to follow, an impact so profound that it shaped the contours of the nation, opening doors for individuals like me to expanding the table of power. From pain to progress, the NAACP has shaped our path. And when I was sworn in as the Attorney General, my mentor, the late Assembly member Al Van, told me that the most important lesson to remember was the people who put you in a place of power. He was New York's chairman for Jesse Jackson and his campaign for president. He trained me on community empowerment and institutional building and the importance of supporting the NAACP. It is that people-powered view that has shaped my career. He believed that power came from the ground up and not the top down. Power that is earned out of struggle and sacrifice. It is for that reason that we cannot allow ourselves to be beaten down by the challenges that we currently face. We cannot turn away from the most insidious assault on our rights, the chilling of civil engagement, the dismantling of our democratic norms, the moral collapse, the legal stain, the tension, the hate, the violence, the shredding of the ties that bind us all. So it means more than I can express to receive this award, this Ida B. Wells Freedom and Justice Award. I share this award with my fellow AG from Michigan, AG Dana Nessel, who recently denied the Department of Justice's request for ballot information, calling it an attempt to interfere in state elections and an attempt to sabotage Michigan's democratic process. This award's namesake once said, "The way to right wrongs is to light the truth upon them, to shine light in the darkness." AG Nessel is the holder of that light of liberty in Michigan, just as our ancestors grabbed the torch of freedom and used it to light the way forward for all of us. I was recently in Selma, Alabama, taking part in that sacred pilgrimage to honor the brave Americans whose protests sparked the passage of the Voting Rights Act. They were weary and thirsty, not from their walk, but from their journey for freedom. They were bloodied and bruised. They were arrested and jailed, but they did not back down. At the bus stops, at the ballot boxes, at the lunch counters, and in the halls of power, they were unapologetic. They were fearless, not fearful. But the threat of suppression and intimidation is laid bare in their plans. But we will not normalize these days and times. We will not accept things as they are. We will reject the tightness of their grip, and we will not sit idly by and allow the destruction of our democracy and the diminution of our Constitution. We will not allow the erasure of our history and everything we've marched and bled and died for. They will not snatch the power from people and place it in the hands of the rich and the well-connected. Our God gives us the strength when the present looks hopeless. I and other AGs will stand as jealous guardians of your rights against any encroachment from the federal government, uncompromising, resilient, meeting the moment, refusing to allow them to hide their wrongdoing in the dark, defending democracy, pushing back against all of the attacks on voting rights, economic opportunity, and the attacks on immigrants. In short, I will do whatever is necessary to ensure that our system reflects Americans' ideals for all of its citizens. Like the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, we have built a national coalition spanning dozens of states to make one thing clear in courtrooms: you cannot bulldoze our rights, the Constitution. You cannot hijack our democracy. From the days of this administration, we have gone to court and we have won 80% of the time. Freedom is indivisible. Thurgood Marshall and the Legal Defense Fund showed the world what it looks like when people commit to defending it everywhere at once. And that is what this generation of attorneys general are doing, defending the Constitution so that the rights written into the document belong to every American, regardless of who is in the White House. We are on the front lines. We have sworn an oath to protect and defend it, and I will always do my part to make sure that that oath is kept. If a 6-year Ruby Bridges can find the courage to walk through an angry, screaming mob just to get to school, so can we. If Constance Motley Baker can find the courage to confront the segregationist judges and lawyers during her career, so can we. If 125,000 people in Detroit can find the courage to go down Woodward Avenue and walk for freedom, all of us can do the same. And if 8 million people can march against a wannabe king, then all of us, standing in arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, then all of us can join with them. And so the choice before us is the same that any generation has faced: liberty or oppression. We will not backslide. NAACP, I see in all of your faces that you've already made your choice. We have been here before, and we're not going back. We will not be intimidated. We will not be disparaged. Our walk from freedom continues. And on that day in November, after we vote, we will all be proud when we can call him the next speaker, Hakeem Jeffries. When we exercise our political muscle, the message will be clear. You can't beat a people who refuse to give up, and we refuse to give up. God bless you and thank you.